Hi, to start today, without a calculator, I want you to work out these four indices questions. Please pause the video and have a go. Okay, so I'm going to talk through these. So these are testing recently learned skills. So you've got to remember that the minus here means it's 1 over 2 cubed, which becomes 1 over 8. The half here means it's the square root of 4, which is 2. Here, the 16 to the minus a half becomes 1 over 16 to the half, which becomes 1 over root 16, which is 1 over 4. And 4 to the 0 is 1. If we're dealing with these ones in brackets, the first one, we've got to remember our rule of indices. We multiply these powers together. That's going to give us x to the 12. Here, we're going to do 2 to the power 3 times x to the power 3 over 2, because I raised it 2 to the power, I raised this to the power of the thing outside the bracket, and then this as well. This is going to give me 8x to the 3 over 2, and this is the first time we've seen a fraction which is not just like a unit fraction. It doesn't just have a 1 in there, and that's going to be our topic for today actually, but for the time being this is fine as our answer. Here, this is going to become 25 to the half times x to the 2 times the half, that's just x to the 1, which then becomes the square root of 25, which is 5, and then just back to x. So this quite complicated thing becomes a very simple thing. And finally, we might get some negative powers going on outside the bracket. Okay, this one is a bit sneaky. We've got a quarter to the power of minus a half, and then y to the power of 4 times minus a half, that's minus 2. Okay, we need to deal with this a quarter to the power of minus a half. First thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the minus, so that's going to become, we're going to need to actually flip it around. So just like it becomes 1 over, if I have 16 to the minus a half, it became 1 over 16 to the half. This is going to become 1 over 1 over 4. But actually, that just becomes 4, because 1 divided by a quarter is 4. It flips back round to 4. And then that will become 4 to the half, y to the minus 2. This is the square root of 4, which is 2. And so our answer is 2y to the minus 2. We could even write that as 2 divided by y squared if we wanted to get rid of the negative power. Okay, hopefully you are happy with those. Today we're going to still be looking at fractional indices, but I've called it next level because we're going to be looking at ones like this. Okay, 4 to the power 3 over 2. How do we work that one out? We've just about got our heads around 4 to the half. What about 4 to the 3 over 2? Right. Well, this is a harder skill, but it's not loads harder. It's just a little sort of trick that we need to use. And actually, the trick we've already kind of revealed. It's here. We have said that x to the half to the power 3 is equal to x to the 3 over 2 because we've used our multiplying rule. But that means that we can rewrite x to the 3 over 2 as x to the half to the power 3. And if we do that here for this 4 to the power 3 over 2, it's going to become 4 to the half to the power 3. Hello, we can deal with this. We know what 4 to the power half is now. It's the square root of 4. It's 2. We're still needing to cube it, which we then do, and we get 8. So 4 to the power 3 over 2 is 8. Brilliant. We can do these for the other ones as well. So 27 to the 2/3 we can write as 27 to the 3rd, and then we can square it. That's the cube root of 27, which is 3. We're then going to square that, and we're going to get 9. Here, wow, 32 to the 4/5. That's going to be 32 to the power of a fifth, and then raise it to the power of 4. Now this is getting quite horrible, but you can generally expect for these non-calculated questions, you're going to get a nice number as the answer. So it actually turns out if you do 2 times 2, you get 4, times 2 again, 8, times 2 again, 16, times 2 again, 32. That means that 2 to the 5 is 32. That means that 32 to the 5th is 2. And I raise that to the power of 4, I'm going to get 16. Okay, I'm going to make 2 points before I move on. You must never multiply the number by the power. That's not what's going on here. We are raising it to the power. It's a very different thing. And at first glance, it's you know, you think, well, I know how to do 32 squared. I understand that's 32 times 32. But what is going on with 32 to the 4 over 5? Well, you know, if we accept our rules of powers, then this is what's going on. We get 16. My second comment is that I could, if I wanted to, write it as 32 to the 4 and then raise it to the power of a fifth. And I could work that out. But in general, that's going to be horrible because it's going to take me a long time to raise 32 to the power of 4 without a calculator, and then I got to try and find the fifth root of that. Don't want to do that. Okay, do not do that. Raise it to the power of the fraction first because that's going to be easier. You can expect to get a nice answer, and then it's going to be okay to raise that to the power of a large number. Okay, now we're on to one within a bracket. This is going to become 32 to the power 3 over 2 times x to the power of 2 times 3 over 2. That's just x to the 3. I've just cancelled the 2's off basically. If you don't notice that, then you can write it as 2 fractions and do 2 times 3 is 6, 1 times 2 is 2, 6 divided by 2, which is 3. There's different ways of obtaining it. Okay, I'm just going to make a little bit of space. Okay, so now this is going to become 100 to the power of a half to the 3 over 2. Sorry, 100 to the power of half to the 3 times x to the 3. That's the square root of 10. I then cube it. I get 1,000 x to the 3. Okay, last little step. We're going to now chuck in negatives as well. And then the final one, we're going to have all these in brackets with a negative. But what I'm trying to illustrate is that these horrendously looking things, if we use our rules of powers, it's fine. Okay, this is going to become 1 over 16 to the 3 over 2. This is 1 over 16 to the half, and then cubing it. And 16 to the half is the square root of 16, that's 4. 1 over 4 cubed is 1 over 64. And it really helps to know your cube numbers, know your square numbers, because you can do this quickly. Otherwise, you're going to have to spend time with written methods. Okay, 3 more. This is going to be 1 over 8 to the 2/3. I'm gonna always sort of take my time with my steps. That's going to be 1 over 8 to the 3rd squared. Okay, that's the cube root of 8, which is 2. And then square it, I'm going to get 1 over 4. This one, I'm back to my brackets, but it's okay. 25 to the minus 3 over 2 times y. I'm going to multiply these together. 4 times minus 3 over 2. I can imagine writing that as 4 over 1. I can sort of cancel out the 2 with part of the 4. I'm going to get minus 6. This is going to become 1 over 25 to the 3 over 2 times y to the minus 6. Probably should have created a little bit more space. Okay, and then I'm going to get 1 over 25 to the half, all to the power of 3 times y to the minus 6. That's the square root of 5, which is, sorry, square root of 25, which is 5. Cube that gives us 125. So it's 1 over 125 times y to the minus 6. Okay, last one. I'm going to write it in red just to distinguish it. Okay, this one here. Okay, we've now got 3 things inside the bracket, but I'm just trying to illustrate that you do it in exactly the same way. 49 to the minus 3 over 2 times x to the minus 2 times minus 3 over 2. Well, first of all, the negatives are going to cancel, and then secondly, the 2's are going to cancel. So that's going to give me x to the 3. Then I've got y to the 6 times minus 3 over 2. Here, the 2 is going to cancel with part of the 3, and I'm going to get minus 9. Doing that quite quickly, so this is sort of, you're going to need to be good with your fractions for this. Okay, that's going to give us 1 over 49 to the 3 over 2, which I'm immediately going to write as 49 to the half to the 3, and then write my other things. Okay, the square root of 49 is 7, and then cubing that gives us, do you know what, I've actually forgotten, it's going to be 243. Okay, that's not an easy cube number to remember. 1 over 243, x to the 3, y to the minus 9. And that's, this is quite a lot going on here. But if you can understand these negative indices, fractional indices, now the fact that we don't have a unit there, we've got like a number there, we've got things inside brackets. If you can do those things, then you're in a great place with your indices. Just to summarize them, this is sort of summarizing the last few lessons really. If we've got a negative index, we just flip it around 1 over. Okay, I showed where that comes from. In the case of minus 1, it just becomes 1 over n. N to the minus 1 is 1 over n. Here are some examples. If we have n to the power of 1 over a number, this is a nice whole number, then you just take the root of that. So if a was 3, it'd be the cube root. And now we've got this extra step. There's 2 ways you can write it, and the way we've been doing it is this one on the right. We've been basically raising it to the power of the fraction first, which is giving us the root, and then raising it to the power a. And well, we've done plenty of examples, but here's a few more. Wow, okay, that is, you can see why that's next level fractional indices. I hope you're happy with that. I'm going to get you to practice some questions now.